symbol and a logo of the foundation I Live Consciously. And to live consciously means not just to know, but to also do. Because I often hear it, I live consciously in the matters of health. But the question is that, many know the traffic rules. Everybody knows where to cross the street, and if there is a traffic light, we know what the red or green light means. We know that, but do we act correctly? Because if we know but act incorrectly, it means we do not live consciously. And the same goes for health. It's not enough to know, you also have to do something, and only then it will be a conscious living. This evening, you will spend with me, Ludmila Valovaya, doctor in medicine, immunologist, geneticist of highest category. I have worked in medicine for 37 years, 20 of those in military hospitals. And for 26 years, and this year already 27 years, I've been working professionally with herbal compositions to help people get healthy. I have researched the supplements of 5 companies, and I was a speaker in 15 international medical conferences in 7 countries. Our today's topic uh, will not leave anyone indifferent, especially those who have children. So, our topic is parasites, our neighbors or hosts, myths, reality, and fashion for anti-parasitic cleansing of the body. When I hear that word cleansing, I understand that the person who says that has no relation to medicine, because in medicine we do not say cleansing, we say drainage. So, this is the topic we're going to discuss today, the parasites. But the key in this topic is integrative, preventative, orthomolecular, and naturopathic and herbal medicine in prevention. Uh, what is prevention? It means not to have many diseases that can happen. So, what's integrative medicine? This is a medicine that uses all the approaches, traditional, non-traditional, and this approach is aimed at individual improvement of specific person's health. It's not aimed at a disease, it's aimed at health and use and prevention of specific person. So what's prevention medicine? It works on prevention. Orthomolecular means using correct molecules. What are correct molecules? Of course, in natural compositions. So it's naturopathic medicine. And where do we get these correct molecules? Of course, in plants, herbs. So it's also herbal medicine. So let me read you again, and you will understand what our approach will be. So, parasites are neighbors or hosts, myths, reality, and fashion for anti-parasitic cleansing of the body. And for us, the key is integral, preventative, orthomolecular, naturopathic, herbal medicine in prevention, meaning to prevent diseases. And it's not a secret that our whole life is not in sterile environment. We are surrounded by millions, billions, maybe even trillions of different living micro being. So these are fungi, viruses, bacteria, helminths. This is a living environment that has been living on planet Earth for a long time, much longer than humanity, meaning that they have adapted to survive under any conditions. And we have to always remember and keep in mind that this environment, fungi, viruses, bacteria, helminths, they where they are and they will be living together with us on the planet Earth. It is believed that just bacteria are millions of species, and though out of those millions, only about 10,000 have been studied and described. But I think even those are enough to understand that we do not live in a sterile world, and it will always be like that. Good news is that only a small amount, a small percentage of these microorganisms surrounding us can be pathogenic for us and create parasitosis. That's the outside world. On the other hand, inside, you see the guts here on the picture. And in our guts, we have our own zoo, different microorganisms that live with us. And they are our friends, they protect us. In the process of evolution, we have become friends with them, and we cannot live without each other. And they are our epigenetic clock. What is epigenetic clock? What is epigenetics? So our life, our health, our life expectancy, of course, depends on genetics naturally. Yes, naturally. However, only for 10-15% on average. It also depends on the condition of the medicine, also about 15%. But the rest, 70-80%, depends on our way of life. And this way of life is called epigenetic factor. So, with our microbiome, that is what all the microorganisms within us are called, needs to be taken care of. We have to take care of our zoo, feed them, protect them, because they protect our health. So, what about our environment? We know that we are surrounded by crowded living environment, but there are microorganisms that stayed our enemies. We have already discussed friends who live within us and protect us, but there are those who we were not able to make friends, and they are our enemies. And when they get inside our body, they cause diseases like helminthosis, parasitosis. These can be viruses, fungi, bacteria, and of course, uh, helminths. Despite the war that was declared against them, what is that war? It's our hygiene and disinfections and detergents, cleansing and washing detergents, anti-parasitary programs, and those so-called cleansings I have already mentioned. But it's all without success. Why? Because the helminths are there again and again and again. So what should we do? Should we cleanse ourselves all the time? But we have to remember that these living beings have always been there and will always be there. And I think we have to find another approach. What's interesting is that not always and not everyone, even those people who are relatives and live together, not always in all the people, the parasitic diseases are caused. So we have to think about it. So, what are the gates of infection? There are three main access points for these parasites to our body: through mouth, oral cavity. By air, we can breathe in droplets, and infection on the skin through skin damage. And let us discuss the diseases, so-called diseases of dirty hands. Those are the ones that get into our guts through the mouth. So what is that? These are parasites that can be on our hands if we put our hands into our mouth, and then problems start. Where can we get those on our hands? Of course, through door handles, through public transportation, so on and so forth. And at schools, door knobs are just crowded with a zoo. Then with water, the greatest amount of infections get to us through water and through food. So if the food has the cysts or eggs of the parasites, when can that be? When it's insufficient thermal process, or raw fruit and vegetable that have not been washed well. And lastly, through objects, when spoons or forks have not been washed well. Someone used it, then someone else uses it. Then glasses, you can see here. One person drinks, then they don't wash it, another person drinks. However, in this life, it's interesting to observe things. Since my youth, probably since school, definitely, I had a question: why little children who take everything into their mouths, our development, our human development, is similar for everyone. We all have this stage when we get to know the world through the mouth. They take everything into their mouth. I witnessed one child to take a slipper in their mouth. You might have seen when in public transportation a child sits on the lap of mother and father and licks the glass, the window of the public transportation. So everybody goes through that stage, but little children, very little children, have no helminths. Have you thought about it? I have. Also, the second question coming out of this question is how humanity survived in this environment of helminths and microbes if everybody goes through knowing the world through the mouth. So everybody takes everything into the mouth at some stage. And then the question is why one child in a family has certain helminths or other parasites like Lamblia, for example, and another child doesn't have it. So the question is why? And you know, there was this fashion that if someone in the family had some parasites, then the whole family had to take anti-parasitic drugs. You might have encountered that. But the question is, what protects us as humanity, who since childhood licks everything, but not everybody have parasites, and small children don't have parasites at all. It's a mystery, but it's so. So this is what surrounds us. So let's look for the answer. What helps us survive if we did indeed survive? What has nature given us as our weapon of defense? There are mechanisms of defense. And I have found this answer because, when you have a question, then you're looking for the answer. And when I started researching Eastern Tibetan medicine 27 years ago or even more. So, when our body puts these uninvited guests through the body. So, let me remind you, some parasites always get into our body. We are not sterile. We don't live in a sterile world. But there is certain mechanism of defense. And let's see what those are. Now we will have three pyramids. One, the way you see now. Another one will be upside down. And then we will connect them. And then you will understand it. So, encounter between our modern science, Western medicine, with the observations and experience of Eastern medicine, which means we go back to the future. Let's start with the East. So you see this pyramid, which has different levels. The very first level in the bottom is the biggest one. Let me remind you, this is Eastern Oriental approach. And how they view the source of problems of health. Where are our barriers and our defense systems? The first barrier is GI tract, as it states here. So the first barrier is hydrochloric acid in our stomach. What's an acid? So a child sucks on something and the eggs of helminths get in, definitely. And why small children don't have helminths? Because their concentration of hydrochloric acid is so strong that cysts and eggs simply die there, because egg is a protein and it gets boiled basically in an acid. So our first defense mechanism in our body, given to us by nature, eats our stomach that is healthy, and it has to generate good hydrochloric acid. So it has to be normal concentration. We will later discuss the numbers. Next, after stomach, it goes lower, and then these cysts and eggs of the helminths encounter bile, and bile is alkaline, meaning so they knew in the East already 2000 years ago that alkaline substance is the greatest antibiotic in our body. So it's the second barrier. So everything that didn't perish in the acid, um, getting into alkaline environment, is destroyed. Thus, there is protection. Next, we go a step higher, second floor. If we have a deficit of hydrochloric acid, or we don't have enough uh, number and quality of bile, then it means we have a deficiency of vitamins and minerals. I explain it with modern words, but in the East, they understood that these barriers have to be kept, and then you will be protected from parasites. But when there is a deficiency of vitamins and minerals, it means, first of all, fat soluble vitamins. They cannot become water soluble cannot be absorbed, and then there are problems with health, different kinds of problems. And the third floor is what we can see. We already have parasites because they went through the first barrier without encountering a problem, then through second barrier because bile is not enough qualitative, and then they start multiplying. Then fourth floor, if our gut is harmed, then of course we have next problems. Which problems? um, Hormonal changes, because the gut is an interesting organ which takes part in a big part processes of hormones. Uh, 80% of thyroid hormones stopped being mm, generated, and then there are problems with insulin, then we have problem with sugar, then uh, cortisol with stress and so on. And on top we have already diseases. When all these floors we've gone through, then the parasites secrete toxins and it's all manifested. But if we try to cleanse, uh, as they say, the certain parasites, then other parasites will come. And diseases are only on the top of this pyramid, but the whole reason was where? In the bottom layer. Now let's take the pyramid upside down and let's see. We see the following, that if we go from bottom to top, so the root cause is below. The point of this triangle, and it doesn't stand well if you put the triangle this way, which means our health falls down. So the root cause is so small and no one can pay attention to that. Then we go up, second floor of this pyramid is sources of problems. We remember it's vitamins, it's minerals, and their deficiencies. And then we understand there are changes in the gut. There's leaky gut syndrome. We go up again, and the fourth floor is where we spoke about hormonal disorders. So it's already systemic autoimmune inflammation, and it's discussed a lot nowadays. Finally, people have paid attention to that, and they already say that it's the reason of practically all autoimmune diseases, but you know that the number keeps growing. And on top, for example, consequence of this small reason, which in the East was believed to be the main cause, of course, but this is a Western approach on this slide that is being changed, and I'm happy about that. So the consequence is many diseases. The top layer, it's consequences. And in the Western approach, the consequence is on top of this pyramid, and these are diseases. And that's why we have different professionals, each working with their kinds of disease, gynecologists, pulmonologists, and so on and so forth. And every expert, of course, works on their part of human body where this disease is, but we keep forgetting about the root cause, which is below. And it's so good that many doctors start to understand that and they change their approach. And now there are many webinars on health, And some people say it's like their own discovery. No, more than 2000 years ago, they knew that in the East. And let's connect together these two views on health. Let's connect them because we are educated people. So let's start from the bottom and let's connect all the floors. So what do we have here? GI tract. And we know that the stomach is the first barrier, hydrochloric acid. When it's low acidity, then there will be iron deficit and different anemias. And the situation is as follows. The when the acidity is 1 to 3 units, then there will be better bile. We have to understand, but it's already the second barrier. So even if something gets through the first barrier, some eggs or cysts, then they had to perish on the second barrier. Let's go up where the deficit of vitamins and minerals starts. So A, D, E, K, vitamin C. And let me tell you, well, we have already discussed a lot about provitamins, but let's speak about minerals. So if we have a deficiency of copper, then connective tissues suffer in the body. And then there are hernias in our spine or in our navel and that's the deficiency of copper. Second, zinc. We all know that zinc is connected to immune system, but the deficiency of zinc also causes uh, viral infections. And if you have herpes, it means you have zinc deficiency. And now combine these two minerals, copper and zinc. Copper and zinc, it's how Russian word for medicine sounds. And but where is the beginning? The beginning is our defense mechanism, stomach and bile. Let's go up. Uh, third floor. It's when we have parasitic diseases, the eggs, the cysts are there and they multiply. And then it's a disorder of gut biome and the leaky gut syndrome, inflamed gut syndrome. It used to be called the syndrome of gut with holes. Those who follow medical research, you will see that now it's the leaky gut syndrome. What does that mean? It means that everything that we need to get out of the body with excrements leaks, meaning something is absorbed back into the body. What? The toxins get absorbed back into the body, the waste products. And the most unpleasant is when back we get back into the blood the toxins, poisonous waste products. Uh, for, for example, the waste products of estrogen.
And that's when estrogen domination starts and it gets into the bloodstream, resulting in autoimmune diseases. And today, these diseases are widespread. They are being studied because they are considered to be significant in extending the quality of life and the lifespan. And on top, we can see the end result. So, what should we do? How do we carry out cleansing? Where should we do them? Maybe we should change the approach. What do you think? We can get rid of parasites all the time, continuously, over and over again. But I've already told you, we are living in this environment and they get into our body anyway. So we need to think how to help our body, our organism in a clever way. We need to restore our protective barriers. And you might have already understood where we should start from. What do we have at our disposal? I hope we all already understood how to do that, how to protect ourselves. What should we start from? We should start from our stomach. We need to help our stomach to restore normal state of the gastric juice. And there are two formulas, and that's very convenient because you can use one, then you can use another one. You can see on the left the bottle My Gastrin. This is a systemic composition for gastrointestinal tract. What is its function? What does it do when we swallow it? It gets into our stomach and it increases the secretion of the gastric juice. That's exactly what we need. It helps absorb iron. That's also very necessary. It also helps our liver to excrete toxins. Otherwise, there is a huge burden for the liver. It also improves the quality of the bile. It calms down the mucosa and regulates the intestinal peristalsis. If you have heartburn or if you have reflux, meaning that the bile goes up the esophagus, up the gullet, then it can help, and you should take it before meals, 25 to 50 milliliters with your main meal. And usually your main meal is lunch. The good news is that you can use it from the age of 12. The only thing that we need to remember about My Gastrin, there must be 2-hour interval if you take prodiacid or chlorophyll. Not to stop their effect, not to lose their action. So My Gastrin, that's one formula. And another formula is aloes. And this is an amazing composition which has anti-inflammatory effect. It makes all mucosa healthier. And first of all, of course, it gets into the stomach, so it restores the mucosa of the stomach. Antibacterial effect, and it means all these undesirable organisms will die. And it also helps bile secretion, and bile is necessary because it ensures disinfection. So that is our own antibiotic. It helps heal the wounds, and it contains the vitamins such as folic acid, which is vitamin B9. It also contains vitamin B12, especially important for vegans and vegetarians. It helps relieve spasms of the gallbladder. It is important to prevent bile congestion because otherwise we won't be able to protect ourselves against these parasites. So the composition of aloes is very interesting. Out of 20 amino acids, we all are made of proteins, and proteins are made of amino acids. We need 20 amino acids, and aloes contains 19 of them, and 7 essential amino acids. And when aloes passes from the stomach into the intestines, into the colon, it enhances the growth of fibroblasts, and that means synthesis of collagen. We talk a lot about collagen, but nothing can be better than our own collagen when it is produced, when it is synthesized, and it is of high quality. So that's how we can help our stomach. Wonderful compositions. You can use one, then you can use the other one. And there are also other products. We've already had and discussed the products helping our stomach, but there are also products helping our liver. ProSelect will help to get help the liver to get rid of all toxins and excrete them. So these two products, ProSelect and Berberine. First of all, ProSelect. It has a strong antioxidant effect. It helps liver get rid and excrete free radicals. Free radicals are widely discussed, and it's important to have these detox and get rid of all these harmful substances. Then it also cleanses the blood, and it also gives you life energy. And it improves the quality of bile. It contains zinc, and you remember zinc deficiency leads to viral diseases, herpes and other. Interferon, vitamins B1, B3, B9, and to help the immune system. It also helps create anti-mutagenic barrier because mutations cause various masses and tumors. Of course, in the worst case scenario, these mutations may cause cancer. Then if we continue, it also ensures conscious detox of the liver. Xenobiotics are foreign substances that are not natural, not of natural origin. Whether we want it or no, they get into our body all the time with food and all these E substances you have definitely heard about, and many other things. With hygiene products, cosmetics also contain synthetic substances that are quite foreign for the human body. So they are xenobiotics, and we need to get rid of them. Everyone gets these xenobiotics, but only the liver is able to get rid of them, to cleanse the body from them through the bile. How do we take it? For prevention, 1 capsule twice a day, or you can take 2 capsules at once, but the daily dose, 2 capsules during a meal or right after the meal. The next formula, another formula for the liver, is berberine. And that means this product supports the liver, and that means the entire body, and it helps the immune system. Let me tell you something, maybe not everyone is aware of that, but this word cholesterol, you have heard about cholesterol, you all know your blood pressure, you all know your blood glucose level, and cholesterol level. So in case of increased cholesterol, it is a problem. What do you need to do to decrease it? And what happens to it when we decrease it? The only way how to get rid of cholesterol, how to remove it from blood vessels, is to extract it and excrete through the liver with the bile into the colon, and that's how the body gets rid of them. Triglycerides are one of the fractions of lipid metabolism, and they also need to be excreted. So We need to help the liver so that the liver excretes cholesterol, and when the cholesterol is excreted, blood pressure decreases. Uh, it also ensures anti-inflammatory effect, and it affects the carbohydrate metabolism, decreases allergic reactions. If you now have allergy, now it is spring and the nature is going to bloom and blossom, and we will see a lot of pollinosis, a lot of mm, hay fevers, and berberines can help you. How to take it? 1 or 2 capsules. Either you take 1 capsule twice a day or 2 capsules once a day after the meal. And the good news is that berberine can be taken 3-4 months in a row, and then you need to have a break. But while you are on a break, you can take Prosolect. And another thing I wanted to say about berberine, you can buy it at a pharmacy, but what you need to understand, we are professionals and we must know it. Why you take berberine you bought at the pharmacy before meals, and why DuoLife supplements after meals. The fact is that there are different raw materials in DuoLife. We use berberine root extract, and it's a different barbaris extract in case of this preparation from the pharmacy. We have a different extract, and that's a wonderful formula. Let's continue. Let's move down. And the next is intestine. You understand that we move from up to down. We helped our stomach. Then the next layer is the liver, and then intestines, where we have our microbiome that we need to take care of. We need to feed it because these microbiota maintains our health and increases the active years. So Probactillar D, clinical formula. Do you understand what that is? That means it underwent serious clinical trials. There are 2 containers which contain, please note, probiotics are very widely discussed, and that's wonderful that people talk about it. People are aware of that. But when 2 people meet, for example, someone prefers probiotics of one company, another person prefers a different company, the third person buys them at the pharmacy, and there is a quarrel. What do we need to know about Probactillar D? It contains 9 billion of colony-forming units, because that's the first question that is asked. We have 9 billions, and that means support for the entire gastrointestinal system, immune system, and the nervous system. And what happens in your body? Spasms are reduced. Irritable bowel syndrome is reduced. Leaky bowel syndrome is eliminated. Everything gets closed because our germs, our microbiota can do everything. We simply help them a little bit. And capsules contain something very different. And we are definitely different. I'm not saying we're better or worse. We are different. We don't need to attack anyone. We don't need to cut anyone's throat. We simply need to know our composition, and we need to tell about that. And these capsules contain 3 postbiotics our microbiota needs. And once again, I want to emphasize we need to take care of them because they are our epigenetic clock that allows us to extend our health and youth. So there are two containers. One containers contain white capsules, the other one yellow capsules. So we take one capsule from one container and one capsule from the other container, and we take them at the same time during lunch. And then in the body, when needed and where needed, they will protect us. Another formula, let's go to column, and we are close to the end of our gastrointestinal system. Fiber, there are two options. There is this liquid composition. You can see this orange bottle, and there is also powder, some kind of sachet. So, what's special about it? This is soluble fiber that doesn't cause bloating, which is wonderful. And why this is necessary? This is the fiber that we don't get enough. We don't get as much as we need. And this formula, this product, enhances the excretion of the content in the colon. And we all have sedentary lifestyles. Look at children, they sit for many hours at school, then they come home, they do homework, then they sit in front of their computer, they sit with their tablet, and it all results in bile congestion. There isn't enough bile excreted. And another thing is that not everyone has breakfast, and breakfast is very important for the body. You need to have this first portion of the bile in the very morning, because that's the first line of defense of the body. You will have to face the entire day. You don't know what will get into your mouth during the day. And if there is this bile congestion, or it means there will be no specific cleansing, and your bowel needs to be cleansed, needs to move every day. And how? By the bowel movement. Because otherwise, in case of a constipation, all these products get back to the body, and that's how systemic autoimmune inflammation starts. That's something that is being discussed. That's the reason for autoimmune diseases, and that accelerates aging of our body. Now you can see the slide with two bio formulas, two mono formulas. It might be unexpected, but this composition, and probably I forgot to tell you how to take fiber, right? Probably I skipped that, but we will go back. Yes, how to take fiber. As it enhances peristalsis, you need to take it on its own. You should not combine it with other supplements. 50 milliliters for an adult with 1 glass of water after meal. You need to wash it down with water. And it's better if you take it in the morning. Although I know people who take it in the evening, and then in the morning they have bowel movement. So you need to listen to your body. Try to take it in the morning for the first 3 days, and then the next 3 days take it in the evening, and look at the reaction of your bowel, how it will react to fiber. So this combination, melatonin and D3 in yellow oil, What is this mixture? Uh, Bioformulas are quite recent in Ukraine, but I know the compositions, I know how they work, and I can share my results, my studies. Maybe someone also takes that. That is a wonderful combination in case of a viral infection, in case of Helicobacter pylori, and in case of candidosis that are fungal diseases. Melatonin that has a sleep inducing effect, and it's easier to fall asleep. The sleep is better. At the same time, this is an anti-stress composition, and Helicobacter pylori reacts to stress. This germ, this bacterium, uh, lives in everyone's body. We are not sterile. We have various bacteria, but not all of them cause diseases. So, how does Helicobacter pylori react to stress? There is adrenaline rush, and these bacteria start growing very fast. And before the reason for ulcers in the stomach were discovered, and everything starts with the stomach, as we've already said, it was believed that there was this version, there was this cortical visceral theory, nerves in the body, spasms there. So it was considered that ulcers are caused by nerves. And then it turned out that it is caused by this bacterium. Everyone is subject to stress, but not everyone has ulcer. As to melatonin, I'm sure you understood this mechanism. So it prevents the growth of Helicobacter pylori, the growth of bacteria. Of course, you need to take it in the evening. As to vitamin D3 in nigella oil, this vitamin D3 is contained, please pay attention, 3,000 genes of our body. 3,000 genes contain vitamin D3. They need this vitamin to be healthy and to work properly. And we have this chronic lack of vitamin D3. We think usually D3 is necessary for bones, for teeth, for memory, but D3 is also indispensable for our immune system, and it is necessary to maintain calcium and to keep calcium in our bones and teeth. And that's how I came up with this idea that it uh, ensures that all mucosa are healthy. And where do we have this problem with Helicobacter pylori? It affects mucosa. And what about candidosis? Everyone has candida fungi, but in certain situations they move from the lumen of the intestines to the intestinal walls, and they start growing there. So if you want to know the amount of candida fungi in your body, and we all have them, the question is how our body is able to cope with that, how our body is able to manage. So in the morning, when you wake up, before you drink some water, before you wash your teeth, before you eat something, take a glass of water and spit as much as you can. You need to get this mucus from your throat into the water. Put it aside and have a look in 30 minutes. If you can see some kind of threads in that water and you need a transparent glass, if you see some threads going down, it means you have too much candida. If everything went down, then you have candidosis. But if that is on the surface, then everything is fine. Your immune system works properly. That's about candidosis. You do understand what are mucosa when you open your mouth in the morning and your tongue is coated and it is white, then that's candida. And there are also candida in the vagina, as they are called in Tibet, mm, vaginal angina. That's something that can be found in any mucosa. And we have this wonderful combination, melatonin to take in the evening and D3 in the morning. D3 is better taken in the morning because this is sun vitamin. And our famous oil, liquid gold, regent oil. So, what I would like to say about it, you need to take different formulas and you need to switch them from time to time. We have wonderful formulas. And as to this oil, we have a wonderful combination, a perfect combination of omega-3, 6, and 9, and they are natural plant-based oils with essential oils. Otherwise, the second level of our triangle with fat soluble vitamins, they need fats. And if you don't get enough bile synthesized and its quality is not sufficient, then you would need this formula, liquid gold. What I want to say, it contains vitamin D3 as well. And vitamin D3, what does it do? We've already said a few things, and in this combination, it gives a wonderful opportunity to absorb calcium from food. So it is able to get calcium from food, and K2 that is enriched, and this formula is enriched with K2, and calcium ensures K2 ensures that calcium gets where it is needed in the bones, in the teeth, and if there is insufficient amount of vitamin K or vitamin D3, calcium, do you know where it will go? It will go into the blood vessels. It will cause atherosclerotic changes in the blood vessels. Oh, you might see calcium deficiency in your tests. And sometimes when people get these results, they start taking kilos of calcium. But the problem is that they lack vitamin K and K2, and they lack vitamin D3. And all this huge amount of calcium is deposited in the kidneys, in the gallbladder, and in the blood vessels. But calcium is needed in the bones, in the teeth, and in hair. Liquid gold will ensure you may not even understand everything, all of its ingredients, but you need to know that you need liquid gold. You need to take it in the morning, 1 teaspoon in the morning. That's so easy. And you can also have vegetables at the same time, which is wonderful. And your unnecessary substances will be excreted through the liver. And another composition which is a wonderful product for our anti-parasitic immune system. That's the product that helps the body and not instead of us, but it helps our immune system to fight viruses.
This is citrus leaf extract, wild teasel root extract, garlic extract, and 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 so on. It binds staphylococcus. It has antifungal effect. It's also oregano and garlic. Anti-helminths that helps without against lamblia. And then Japanese knotweed root extract. It's a discovery we uh, might undervalue. It is oncoprotective, and it's liver detox and protection against radiation. It's also protection of our nervous system. Besides, it help us to get rid of heavy metal, transforming them from toxic to non-toxic form, and allows it to go through liver into the gut and out, including such toxins as borreliosis, when a tick has bitten you. So we have couple minutes left, and what I want to say, as we have such a topic about parasites, neighbors or hosts, friends or enemies, let me tell you again, they where they are, they will be. And we must not only know what to do to help our health, but also do it. Yes, we can do cleanse after cleanse after cleanse, um, but it's smarter if we need to get rid of them, get rid of them, but also to fortify our natural barriers given to us by nature. This would mean conscious help. And let me tell you what you have to remember in helping yourself. You have to move more so that bile is not inactive. Do not have xenobiotics as much as possible. You know the difference between plastic and glass bottles. Of course, it's better to use glass bottles. Also, the glasses, if we drink hot drinks, there is plastic and there is cardboard glasses. Of course, choose cardboard. And also, do not use the plastic top on that cup, because once again, it will be plastic. Better remove it. And also, I have seen people put in the plastic straw from the paper cup. So once again, xenobiotics. Uh, 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 and don't forget about taking spices, garlics, and so on. For example, when you take sushi, it's raw fish. Do they have helminths all the time? No, because they take that together with wasabi in order to kill all the helminths, to destroy them. Don't forget to have breakfast. It's very important. And maybe something unexpected but pleasant. There are mushrooms called chanterelles, which are a good anti-parasitary means, and also pumpkin seeds and so on and so forth. But our task is not to allow them in, helping our barriers. Let them live separately and us separately and happily. You can find all our information, it's open. You can find it on Facebook, on Instagram, but first and foremost, speak to those who have invited you to this meeting. And we thank our interpreters for Ukrainian language. It's Natalia, and for English, we thank Irina and Helena. And Ludmila was with you, and see you again.